Hi everybody, this is Alt Samurai, and today I'm going to be reacting to ReZero Season 4, Episode 12. That's right, we're back! But I have so many notes about Episode 11, so let's just get right into them because I don't want to spend over 20 minutes talking about them. So, we start off with a Season 1, Episode 7 parallel with Ram not trusting Subaru and Amelia sticking up for him. And, this time as well, Ram's emotions are running too high because of Ram, once Subaru tells her that he lost his memories. Since she is too afraid that her sister lost the one person who remembered her. Then she uses violence on Amelia, someone who is, above her in terms of status, and who she's always used the honorific Sama for, and even kneeled to her back in Season 2, because she believed that she was the only one that could save Roswell. So, yeah, that's how you know Ram. She was, her mental state was really all over. Very, emotions were running really high. Then the writing on the walls are a callback to Season 2, Episode 16, when Amelia saw, Subaru's encouraging written words in Echidna's tomb, and this is a twisted and mocking version of that. As if it's telling Subaru that Natsuki Subaru isn't here anymore, and that's a good thing. Which is something Emilia was afraid of back, in that season. Or specifically, the that core before she got into that healthy argument with Subaru. That once she gained her memories back, she'd become a different person and no one would love her. Which is, very relevant to what Subaru is going through right now. Then Subaru is still having a subconscious feeling to kill or let people die to alleviate his own desperate need to know why these people care so much about OG Subaru. So much so that he smiles when Meili tells him to, if Julius dies, I guess we'll get his book. But quickly his worry for Julius does win over. And so, he says he's not the type of person to act bravely without thinking. But he is, and this is a great example of that. He ignores Meili and warns Julius about the attack. He just cannot help himself. Even with all the suspicion and the hurt that Julius got from OG Baru, Julius still chooses to entrust Foxidna and Anastasia to Subaru. He questions his actions through mind Meili because he doesn't get it himself. Talking about Subaru. Of why he chose to help Julius. Then he runs into Foxidna, who knew about the cage plan. When was she told? Was it when everyone was looking around for Meili? Then Foxidna regrets bringing everyone here, especially Subaru. But, how would she have gotten to the tower at all if it wasn't for him? That's just, something I thought was interesting. Then just, Subaru just emotionally kind of breaks once Foxidna doesn't believe he's amnesia. His self-hatred comes to the forefront full force. He says, who the hell would want to become Natsuki Subaru? the expectations of this guy who he doesn't know, but these characters do, is crushing him to an immense degree. He hates both himself as he currently knows, and the Subaru that he feels impossible to live up to, and doesn't get the love that these people show for him, as well as just, having this perception of Ojibaru as a traitor and a murderous villain. He's in so much despair, he even says at some point, if God is trying to punish me for something, I get it. When Subaru has never acted religious before. I don't think, I can't think right now of a time where he's proclaimed the name of God here before. But despite it all, he doesn't let Foxigna go because Julius left her in his care. He feels like he can't do anything worth a damn, yet he tries. He's chosen to carry that weight. He doesn't owe anything to Julius, but he wants to prove to himself that there is something good about him. He claims later that he isn't someone who can risk his life for others. To act in a heartbeat. But that's exactly what he does when he saves Foxigna from falling. After, the scorpion attacks them. He just can't accept it, and so he dismisses it. Beatrice takes his amnesia in stride, despite surely feeling really sad over it. Like she told Roswell, she didn't leave the library to become his number one, but because she wanted to make Subaru her number one person. Subaru promised he'd be someone who would never turn to sepia in her mind, so despite him forgetting about her, she will never do so. Subaru tries to mercy kill Foxigna, spurred on by mind Meili, but he's not capable of it. In any circumstance, he just wouldn't kill someone that he ever felt compelled to protect. Even in, Season 4, Episode 3, he feels very intentional now that a miasma affected Subaru wasn't allowed to kill Ram or Foxigna from a narrative standpoint. It's just not in him as a person, despite the urges he had because of seeing it as an easy way to help with his identity issues due to mistrust. Yet he admonishes himself because in his mind that would have helped her, and he fails at it. His own subconscious as Meili even tells him to die for that, then goes fully suicidal as Satella envelops him and remembers how he was undeserving of his parents' love. That made me so sad. He gives up as Satella repeats she loves him because he wishes this was the end. And then Emilia shows up and saves him. I think I saw somewhere that might have been a parallel to a previous scene before, but I don't remember anymore. So if you know, please, leave it in the comments. But yeah, she's so strong with the way that she takes the news of Foxigna and Betty dying. She sees the person she loves in so much pain. She puts hers aside and lets him know how much he means to her by explaining what they went through in Season 1. Emilia wants Subaru to see the Subaru that she sees. And this, specifically, is a parallel to Season 1's Episode 18, From Zeros, when Ram tells Subaru, how much do you know about the Subaru-kun I see? And even, in that moment, episode From Zero, Subaru does say, I think verbatim, I know myself better than anyone, which is something that he says to Emilia here. No matter if Subaru forgot, Emilia will not forget how those memories shaped her into accepting herself and creating such a strong bond with him. She keeps repeating if he remembers, but I think it's more so to emphasize her points rather than hoping he does. He looks ashamed every time she does that. He's unable to accept Emilia's gentle way of telling him that she loves Natsuki Subaru in any form. Because no matter if this isn't the one that did all of those things with and for her, Subaru at his core is the person she'd rather always be with. And that includes Subaru too. So he lashes out because he can't see it. He says, "Why should it have to be me?" He's so closed off to the idea of someone seeing value in him that he refuses to believe that anyone could know him better than himself. Only his view of himself is valid, because if it isn't, then what has he been doing all this time? Dismissing these people's perspective like that to validate his own self-hatred is just too much for him to deal with right now. And so Emilia introduces herself once again, and we see Subaru reflected in her eye like in season 2, episode 15. She is seeing him fully for who he is and wants for him to try and do the same. Even if their bond was forgotten by him, it can be reforged. The past may be gone, but the future has endless possibilities. He still feels shackled by expectations, trying to ask, why can't it be someone smarter or stronger? And this reminds me of the Wilhelm conversation in season 3, episode 1. When Subaru says, "I'm just a weakling who can't do anything." And Wilhelm responds, "Yes. And it is that very weakling who can't do anything that I like." It's just beautiful. And so Emilia's response here is, "I'd be much, much happier if it's someone I love." It's that simple. And that's when it hits Subaru. Thinking of season 1's episode 25 titled, "This is what this story is all about." Love. When Subaru realizes the reason was love, it all became clear. It was because OG Subaru loves Emilia that he's done so many things and changed himself to, be worthy of her. That made Emilia feel this way towards him. That's what made Subaru become the person that all of these people trust and rely on. It's, this is the reason why Subaru 2 can accept why most of them thought the world of OG Subaru. And so he can finally take Natsuki Subaru as the person he is, and the one that these characters, especially Emilia, put so much faith in. Then Emilia burst into tears as she finally got through to him, because it was what mattered the most as her life was ending here. They both protect each other as they fall, and Subaru is determined to start anew with everything he's learned. Yeah, reading all those notes was the only way I would be able to talk about that episode without getting emotional. And just, I needed the notes. And that's why I rewatched the episode yesterday instead of today like usual, because of trying to find all the parallels and callbacks to earlier points in the story, because I think those really enhance the theme of the episode. And I want to say just Subaru's character arc in this season. You know, it just makes it all the more impactful. So I'm really glad I came prepared, because usually I just go off the cuff, since I just think it's so much work doing this every time. But I think this episode really deserved this amount of prepared thought. So yeah, let's get to the new episode, shall we? I'm so excited. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh man, I did not expect to cry this early in the episode. But of course, he would still have a lot that he'd have to get out. Oh, yeah. Thanks for giving me a break with the OP. Treating me like a weapon. To catch them all, to call me out a guy. Mom. 私の手鳴らして充実しても僕はあるさ国民の中響くワリア盾とされて突きす中で Just you to ready to crave Just in the desert sand This is now Look it up. Oh, Julia's reaction every time. Oh, Beatrice. Something like that. Smart. No. Right. Even through everything that's happened. So but the two still doesn't know. Every time, huh? Oh. Um. No, that smile. Eh? Should have known. Uh, he wouldn't know. Hmm. Oh, this was really good. No, the music. This is like the perfect outcome from this encounter with Ram. Oh, that metaphor. Uh, Again? No. Unless? What? It was Meili? Okay. That's a good question. Hmm. This is very Natsuki Subaru. Whoa. Because of the book. Oh shit! Damn! We're getting this from her own perspective, not a third party omniscient narrator. Even the way that this is presented without the like book death flashback filter is different. So Elsa is technically the one who gave her that name. Hmm. Okay, so she's spelling out everything that was implied before. Should have been the one to kill her. Yay. Oh. I love that. Of course he did. Okay. Oh? No, that's sweet. Okay, well. No. Oh, we're including Julius on this? Okay. I guess she has two dads. Oh my god. From now on. Hmm. Right. Hmm? I love her. Hmm. Oh? Oh! Bet! Yeah, let's do that. Like, I guess the reason they never tried before is because just there's so many books. They'd, you know, it's such a daunting task. But Subaru has deemed this to be the way to go, so surely it'll bear fruits. Hmm. Okay. So that was the episode. I feel like I talked less than usual through it, but I just wanted to being able to absorb as much as I could in regards to mainly the Meili part of the episode. But honestly, no, actually, there was also the ram scene, which was very interesting. So, yeah, I really, really liked the first scene with Subaru breaking down in tears, hugging Beatrice, and holding Emily's hands. He really, really needed that. Obviously, he couldn't tell him what he went through, but this to know him and trust him enough that, they're able to be like, you don't have to tell us anything, but just by the way that you're acting, we know you were holding something really painful inside. So we're just gonna help you through it. just the best way that we can, even if you can't talk about it. But yeah, he tells the rest of the group that he lost his memories. Everyone else pretty much reacts the same way that we saw, like the second time that it happened. But this time, because of, that first scene with Subaru, Emilia, and Beatrice, when Ram accuses him of lying, we actually have Beatrice standing up for him because, with what she saw, she has utmost faith in Subaru that he's telling the truth. There was no lies in those tears. And Ram, because of that, is able to, or rather, is willing to back off for the moment. Then Meili says her same line, but obviously Subaru has a different reaction to it, since he remembers other Subaru killing her. And then, he comes up with a clever way to explain why he knows everyone's names and their general personalities and just, feelings towards them in a way that makes sense. With him not knowing anything before they got to the tower. But yeah, we have another instance of, it's been a while since it happened, but Subaru does call Emilia by Chan. She even says that out loud and makes a sad expression. Subaru notices it, but doesn't comment on it, I guess. I mean, at this point, right, he should be able to tell that that's not the way that OG Baru used to call her. But, at the moment, Subaru is just doing the best he can without trying to be that Subaru. He's just gonna be this Subaru, the best that he can, without trying to imitate the one that came before him. Because, that speech from Emilia in the last loop is still sticking with him, He, even though he makes those kinds of actions that remind people that he's not the exact same Subaru that they used to know. There's still Subaru, and they still care about him in their own ways. Or at the very least, think highly of him. But yeah, he goes to get water with Ram. And that's when we get her once again being like, what are these ridiculous lies? Grabs him by the collar and gets angry. But this is different. She actually gets his face close to hers, so that they're very, the eye contact is very close. And so she's like, so you're telling me to believe you? To believe something as stupid as... And he doesn't let her finish. He just says, I'm going to get Rem back. And you can see he has this newfound confidence and just determination in himself. But yeah, it just makes Ram more upset. You know, get her back, you don't even remember her. But he pushes back. I'll still get her back. Ram and my memories, all of it. And then we'll all go home. We deserve that much at least. And then he actually, you know, something slips out. He says, considering everything we've been through in this tower. And Ram notices, but Subaru doesn't let her think on it because he changes their positions and now she's the one against the wall. But I don't think it's, you know, Subaru doesn't do it with the same intentions as her. He's not upset. He's trying to get her to listen. Why? I need your help to help me do that. And I believe you can do it. If, you know, if only you can believe in me. I will do everything in my power so that everything can be protected. I promise you this, I will see this through. And then he gets close to her face, like she did to him. So that, you know, the eye contact is as close as it can get so that there is no doubt in her mind that he is as serious as can be about this. If I give up, you can do whatever you want to me. It'll be my penance for being careless enough to lose my memories and making you cry. And that's what makes her smile and slap him. Now I do think the smile was more than just, I'm about to hit you for that insult. And more so because there's that glimpse of the Subaru that I care about and the one that cares for Rem. Yeah, but you know, that's how you can tell that Ram is once again at ease with him, because she starts bantering. And then, you know, they start listing the things as to why Subaru would be here. And she ends it with, you cared about Rem. And that's when she accepts that he's truly forgotten her. But he assures her, you know, it's not just her, it's everyone else. But I'll get those memories back. I'll make sure of it. And so they start walking together. And then he says, Natsuki Subaru was definitely here, right? And we get this smile of Ram that he doesn't get to see, but we do. And even though we don't get to see her eye, I think it's even more so that, you know, it's just so close. She's keeping this so close to her chest. That makes it all the more genuine. That, you know, even though our Natsuki Subaru is gone for the moment, he is still here somewhere within this guy. Yeah, he's just temporarily invisible at the moment, But he's here. I can feel it. Like a flower buried on the cold snow. He'll show himself once the snowy season has passed. You know, that's so beautifully poetic. And not at all how Ram talks, usually. But that's what makes the moment all the more special. The fact that Ram, of all people, would equate Subaru to a flower that is buried under snow. I think it really, you know, it makes me think of Ram's line in season 2, episode 15, I believe, when Garfield asked her, like, why are you siding with Subaru? And she's like, because he has perfect timing. And I feel like this works within that view of her about him. He always shows up when you need him the most, and it all works out. And I like that awkward smile that Subaru gives, and then it turns into a more soft one. Okay. Yeah, I really like that scene. Then we have finally the culprit of who's been pushing him down the stairs. And that's Meili. And she looks understandably very surprised and worried that he was able to get the one up on her, because, you know, how could he have anticipated that? Honestly, I was worried for a little bit that he did get pushed. It is interesting how she tries to figure out how the hell he was able to stop her. And also how she thinks that he'll now try to kill her because of it. But yeah, I have no intention of killing you or hurting you. Which, as we know, that's a very Subaru thing to do. That's what he always does. Even if someone has tried to kill him in the future, or rather, in the past. But, you know, through something or other, he, you know, can feel in his heart that they're a kind person underneath, or they have the potential to be a kind person. He will give a second chance. You know, like, he's done it with Rem, Otto, Garfield, now Meili. Technically twice, though this Subaru wasn't the one who let her stay at the mansion after trying to kill everybody. Yeah, he's just gonna treat her like he always has. Which is, you know, just a sign of how strong Subaru is emotionally, that he's able to do this. But yeah, he tries to talk to her, but she just won't have it. If anything bothers me, is this situation right now. You don't even know what it's trying to do. Just an impulse. And so Subaru says, because murder is a habit. And he's been in that kind of mental state. Now, obviously, he never committed it, but he is familiar with you know, almost falling to it. Oh well. And then she snaps. What could you possibly know about me? She's making a very Subaru face, saying a very Subaru line. And I think that's a big reason as to why Subaru is compelled to help her, because he sees a little bit of himself in her. And he says, I do. I know all about you. I doubt there's anyone in this world who knows you better than I do. And that's, very similar to how people have helped him in the past. When he's just very tunnel vision about the perspective that he has about himself, and not letting other people's perspective be valid, which I really like. Yeah, he brings Elsa up, and that's when she jumps. She was willing to die before talking about this. That's how deeply affected she was by this. I mean, we saw, right, through her book. She was deeply afraid of being known. Because without Elsa Granhirt, what is she? A major part of her identity is shaped around her. And so Meili's so afraid of, like, if you take away the parts of her that are made out of that, then there will be nothing left. And that's so scary. But on the other hand, from Subaru's point of view, what he's trying to say is that, yeah, your past might not have been the best. You might not have had a good role model. And there's not a lot of you that you feel like it's truly you. You only have the future left, right? You have all the time in the world to figure out who you are and become a full-fledged person that is not an imitation of someone else. And I also really liked how her complicated feelings about Elsa, how it was, both, a distinct hatred. At the same time, she just, after spending so long with her and Elsa being such a essential part of who she is now, and just being a big sister to her, the only family she truly knows, there's definitely some affection in there somewhere. Yeah, I really like that. And I love that Emilia was informed about the plan and that Suguru trusted her to help him with this and have his back if things went south. Oh, I love this. Look for your answers once we're out of here and we're in a bigger place. We'll do our very best too. And she says, I don't want to forget about Elsa. That's fine, you know? That's still gonna always be a big part of who she is. She doesn't have to discard all of that. That can still become a precious experience to her. It'll be a, you know, a just one of the many puzzle pieces that will make up Meili portrait, the person. Like, Sora asked her, like, did you want to avenge her? And Meili doesn't really know. But what she knows is that Elsa would not have wanted that. But yeah, why did she go and try and kill Subaru? Yeah, it is a habit. But I think it's because she also felt too seen by other Subaru. You know, the one that I assume is one of the great archbishops. And so I feel like that motivated the kill. But yeah, everyone hopefully is going to contribute on being a parental figure to Meili and shape her to being a decent human being. So next time we're gonna read Reed's book. But for now, I'm gonna leave this here. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Till next time, see ya.